Good morning
Good afternoon,
and good evening.
and welcome to the Mr. and Mrs. in Business podcast.
Yeah,
Who are you?
I'm Helen Butler.
I am Chris Butler. Isn't it funny how our intro, we're looking at each other instead of looking at the camera?
what we're doing, what we're doing.
I know who you are, you know who I am, but for the
Very
people watching
rehearsed.
and listening, well, for the ones that are watching will realise we're looking at each other. Those that listen will never Scooby-Doo, so I shouldn't have said anything, should I?
Well, that's it.
It's only
Yeah, we
half
should
the
have just rolled
audience.
with it.
Yeah.
Should have just rolled with it.
What
But yeah,
a what a few weeks.
yeah. Well, it's been an exciting few weeks. Very busy
It might be exciting for
with
you.
a little trip to Marrakesh, so we can't complain. We managed to fit that in, didn't we? So,
True.
um, but it was weird. It was a fantastic trip, but we didn't necessarily feel overly refreshed because I don't really know why. There was so much going on there, and we expected to sit on a sun lounger.
Yeah.
It's been sunny for 300 days in Marrakesh, and we arrive and it
We bring
rains.
the rain with us. We're
So we thought,
consistent.
well, we can't stay in the hotel room. We simply can't sunbathe, so we had to book some excursions. And then the sun was out and the weather was fantastic for the excursions. It was
Yeah.
just the first day that we got there wasn't great, but we were just sort of chilling anyway. That
Mhm.
wasn't too bad. Checking out the food, the bar, and like chilling, so that was fine. But yeah, so we were really lucky in the end. And the mix of the busy hustle and bustle, um, and then the living in the mountains was just absolutely fantastic.
Mhm.
I would highly recommend to go.
It was very good.
Um,
Really good. Really enjoyed it. And then we've had the podcast studio we've been building, the content
yeah,
studio.
you've been very busy, and it is coming together now, and
That was a sigh.
it is looking rather fantastic. I'm really excited for this one.
I'm excited, but
Mm.
for two reasons. One, because I'm excited to start showing people, but also I'm excited to get it finished.
Yeah,
Oh my
you've
God.
slogged away a lot of
I feel like I'm
evenings,
a really old
weekends.
man now.
Oh, you're still looking fabulous, darling.
No,
Don't
I'm not.
worry.
Everything aches. And
Yeah, you need a long weekend.
yes, but
Mm.
actually, this is our first time back in our normal studio for what, a month now?
Well, yeah,
It feels
yeah,
like it's been
yeah,
forever because we did
yes.
one in the studio that we're
As we were
building
building it,
as a building site, and then we did our last one in
Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
Yeah,
So now we're finally back to, and it feels nice being in my nice chair again.
yeah. We've got our independent chairs back, haven't
Yeah, I'm not
we?
so close to you now, so I
Yeah,
feel a bit
I
better.
like it.
Yeah. So
Mm.
it's nice. It feels nice and comfy. I can slip back in because I'm a granddad. Feel like a granddad. I can fit into my granddad chair again now.
Yes, and you do suit it,
I
darling.
just
I
need a
must
book now
say.
and a pipe, don't I?
Yes, have a
I've
cup
got
of
my
tea
tea. Yeah.
instead. Cup of cocoa.
um,
But today we've got a really interesting topic that we're talking about, haven't we?
over to you.
I mean, you must have been living in a cave if you haven't heard of the net.
Under a rock is
Um,
the I think your phrase you're looking for.
okay, there we go. Um, you must have been living under a rock if you haven't heard of the Netflix series Adolescence.
Let me just sum it up in one word. Oh,
Exquisite.
masterpiece.
Yes, masterpiece. Yeah. I mean, we both saw it from, and I think everyone has seen it from completely different angles. You were watching it in awe for the film,
Oh,
the way it's filmed.
when I get onto this, I'm not going to stop
I
talking.
know,
So
so we
yeah,
do have to be careful of time.
yeah.
Um, and you were like, hold on, they haven't clipped this yet. And you were just watching it like a hawk, saying,
Yeah,
they still haven't. And then you sort of researched it after the first one, you were straight on it.
yeah.
And we were like, Jesus. So then I'm watching, are they just going to do a scene from behind the head and then clip it? No. So we were in awe for that. And then you can't help but be in awe. And you just instantly gripped. I mean, the acting is outstanding.
Stephen Graham, in my opinion, is probably the best actor to come out of this
Mm,
country
mm,
since I can remember. And the supporting, the well, not supporting, the
mm.
people around him,
Well,
fantastic.
he's
But I mean,
been part
he
of
is,
producing it.
oh my God,
Mm,
masterpiece.
yeah. It absolutely is. And you hear one thing, then there's another, then there's another. It really is just
He has this
outstanding.
ability to, and everything I've watched him in, he has this ability to get you gripped, get you
Mm.
inside this raw emotion. And it's
Yes.
one thing an actor acting this emotion, but to
Mm,
get you to feel it as well.
mm, mm.
I don't know how he does it, but the guy is a genius
Yeah.
because throughout that whole thing, I never,
Mm.
I'm going to admit this now, I never cry at anything really. I suppose
Uh,
I'm a bit of an old gentleman like that. You don't really
yeah.
show your emotions kind of thing.
Mm,
And
mm.
And all the way through, I was with him with his story, and
Mm,
he
mm,
put me, I felt like I was in his shoes as the dad,
yeah.
um, going through, and at that he built this moments through
Mm,
4 episodes and carries on building it as well. That's
yep.
the next thing is to continue building an emotion
Mm,
from one episode to another when there's a break is really difficult.
yes.
And yet he did it. And then at the end, it was almost like a, "Oh my god, everything
Yeah.
just got released." And I was
Yeah.
crying with him while he was on the
Yeah.
bed.
I know. Yeah.
It was
'Cause it was I
amazing.
interesting 'cause I am a crybaby at most things. I wasn't crying. I
Hmm.
was just so gripped, and I turned to you and I said, "Are you crying?"
Yeah.
And you were like,
No, it's like
maybe."
a bumbling fumbling mess. I was
But
yeah.
yeah, it was really interesting how it's hit people so hard
Yeah.
in so many different ways as well, because you really, like you say, you feel like you're in that journey with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I don't know if that's the intensity of not clipping. I don't know if that's the intensity of the story and the fact that it is relatable, because the fact that they had the perfect daughter, and then they're like, hold on, what did we do wrong? We brought them up exactly the
Yeah.
same. Again, like many families, your siblings, you can be completely different to them. It's
Hmm.
so common. You've been brought up the same way, and you're thinking, why? What did I do differently?
Yeah.
But people are just different, and you can't always explain it.
No.
And
And for me, the intensity though, and this, if you haven't watched it, come my God,
oh,
this weekend, make
spend
sure
that
you
weekend
watch it.
doing that.
4 hours of your life you will not regret,
No,
honestly.
I want to watch it
Um,
again.
but this goes to prove my point that I'm always banging on about that to make a great piece of I call it film. Anything that is shot
Mm,
on a camera for me is a piece of film, whether it's a TV series or the cinema, it's a
yeah.
piece of film, piece of
Mm,
art. Is more than just one person. So for me, that intensity was built because of obviously
mm,
the acting was phenomenal.
yeah.
I mean, that young lad, that was his first ever acting job.
Yeah.
And the first uh,
Episode.
episode they shot was the one where it was mostly him and the counselor or the
Yeah. Yeah. The
psychologist in
psychologist.
the young
Yeah.
institution, the prison, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that was his first scene, and that was the most intense and raw scene he
Yeah.
had to shoot as well. And that was his first one, and he did an
I couldn't believe
absolutely
that.
phenomenal job.
Mm,
But this goes to back to my point. This goes to show what I'm always banging on about that a piece of film and
mm,
art is made from not just one person, and it
mm,
is everybody within that set
mm,
that plays a part in creating that masterpiece.
mm,
Your acting, your cinematography, your director of photography, your
mm,
lighting, your sound,
mm.
your staging,
Yeah.
the music that's used,
Yeah.
the script,
Yeah.
everybody to the smallest,
Yeah.
even what people are wearing, the
Yeah.
location scouting,
Yeah.
the
Massive.
oh, honestly, there are hundreds,
Mm,
and depending on the size of the maybe thousands of people involved in
mm.
creating these things, these pieces of art.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show when everybody hits the nail on the head,
Yeah.
what an amazing thing you can
Yeah.
create. But it
Mm,
goes to show
mm.
that when one person breaks down,
Yeah.
because we've all seen programs thought, "Mm,"
Yeah. Then there's
then it
one bad
ruins it.
actor, and it just,
It could be a bad actor, it could be a bad shot, it could be
yeah.
a bad piece of lighting, it could be a bad
Mm,
piece of script. It can be just
mm.
one little thing, and it
Yeah.
ruins that whole piece of
Yeah.
emotion and intensity that's being built. And yet
Mm.
these guys, flipping hell, there should be
I
honours.
know.
They
Oh,
nailed it.
yeah.
Honestly, if
Yeah.
he was here now,
Yeah.
I would shake his hand
Oh,
and everybody, and
yeah.
I'd be in
Yeah.
awe. I
Yeah.
would love to have been a
Yeah.
fly on the wall during that set.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's more behind the scenes clips coming out, isn't there?
Yeah.
And they're just, oh, it's just fantastic to see.
Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent because I'm really excited about the piece of
Yes.
the mechanicals that are
Yeah.
making it, if you like, and what that's
Yeah.
producing. You're
Yeah.
really passionate about the story.
Well, yeah, yeah, because like, as were you
I'm gonna get
though.
my drink.
Because, it's so resonating, and I think that's what Stephen Graham has found so interesting, the conversation that it is brought up for between everybody afterwards. I mean, I've read that he wanted to bring out this story because he kept seeing different instances where teenage boys had murdered other
Which
teenage
is
girls,
horrific, right? I
and
mean,
he'd heard about it throughout the country, and he was like, "What is happening here?" And the reasons behind it are just, is it? is it social media? Is it the way men are seeing towards women? Can we change the way that boys are seeing women?
Hmm.
You know, confidence. It brings up so many questions, and there's so many people petitioning to have this. Um, Shown in schools, in
Yeah.
secondary schools, and I think I mean, as soon as it finished, we went
Parker,
straight up,
down here.
straight to our son
Have a conversation.
who's 11, and we were discussing, could we show him it? And we were like, "I think it's just too slightly too old for him at this moment in
But
time."
in a year or 2 years, 100%.
Absolutely. So we had that conversation, and you feel like you're just so desperate to say to them, "Look, you must speak to us." I mean, we always say this to him, and we try and have such an open relationship with him.
Yeah.
As little as if your friend's telling you that this XYZ means this, anything to do with sex, sort of thing. As
We're very open, aren't we? We try
in
and
school, rumors
communicate.
go round as to what this is, what that is, and it can be an embarrassing conversation,
Hmm.
but they're conversations that need to be had.
Absolutely.
I mean, going off on a tangent slightly, but because it's relevant to this, I heard that a really high percentage of teenage boys, the first time that they see sex on online, um,
Very porn.
yeah, porn, it's basically rape. So if they're thinking that's
Yeah.
how you have sex is extremely
It's wrong, right? It's dangerous. It's
yeah,
dangerous and it's scary. And the minute we called Parker down, I think the thing we kept on drumming him to him is we told him the story, didn't we? We told him loosely what
yes,
happened, which is a
yeah,
young boy
yeah,
was being picked on to some degree by a woman um,
mm,
and by a team of people, by their friends, kind of thing. And he basically made, I can only assume because it didn't go into the detail, I suppose, of
mm,
why he did what he did. It was more left that quite ambiguous,
yeah,
but it was about then that he'd made, I assumed, this stupid mistake and
yeah,
killed it. Whether it was a
mm,
mistake or not, I don't know. Whether it was
yeah,
intentional, I don't know. But
mm,
the point was, we tried to say to Parker was that if somebody is picking on you and saying things you don't like or you don't
mm,
understand something, you've just got to come and speak to us and we will
mm,
help and support you.
mm, mm,
If that child's life, that
mm,
boy,
mm.
their family, the girl,
It's the
their
ripple
family, the
effect.
friends, the school, there are literally going to be hundreds. And then the impacts of people like us watching when these things happen or they know of them,
Mm,
there are hundreds of people's lives that are
mm,
affected, if not ruined,
yeah,
because of one
it,
stupid action
yeah,
that most likely was just in the moment.
yeah,
Oh my God. And then,
yeah,
oh my God, what have I done?
yeah,
Just come away and speak to us. Let's talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
It
Well,
doesn't have to get to this.
it brought up that whole incel thing that
Yeah.
situation with boys feeling like this, and I didn't
The
even know what that
80/20,
was.
was it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
80/20 set, and not feeling like women like them, and then they just don't like. I mean, I still don't know enough about it. In all honesty,
No, I don't.
it's still something that I need to educate myself on. And then the emojis and things
Well,
like
the different hearts, different colors mean different things. I
yeah,
never knew that.
yeah. I mean, I went on the internet to research it, but still researching it very quickly, it still only comes up with the basic meanings of
Yeah.
them. So this is something that like adults and teenagers need to be, and unfortunately, younger than teenagers. Our son isn't even a teenager, and he has a phone like
Well,
most children.
see,
Need
for
to be
me,
educated
the
on.
people that are at the root of all this and seeing all this going on are the
Mm,
schools, unfortunately. And I know
mm,
the schools have a load to do already,
mm,
but I wonder if there needs to be, or I think there needs to be more guidance given from the
mm.
schools to the parents around
Yeah.
the trends.
Mm, mm.
Like, I mean, it could be that
Yeah.
this thing with the different hearts. I don't know. I'm assuming here, making an assumption that because you couldn't find it quickly online, that it's
Yeah.
more of a slang thing that's just
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
But to these kids, it's real. It's
Yeah.
slang or
They're
not, whether
living
it's
it.
just starting, whether it's a trend, it's their life, it's their
Yeah.
all-consuming thing.
Mm,
We need to know. And
mm,
if we can't find the answer online, the schools maybe need to step it up in that respect and
mm,
educating the parents and
mm,
providing us the information so that
mm.
if we choose not to do anything with it, then that's down to the
Absolutely.
parent, right? But
Yeah.
if I can't find the answers I need and my
Mm,
son won't tell me or my daughter doesn't know or whatever,
yeah.
what
You're
am I going to
ignorant.
do?
Yeah, yeah, you're just none the
Um,
wiser. I mean, I did speak to a couple of the colleges that we work with for their workwear and brought up that conversation, and was speaking to some guys in the film as well. And they said that they in the colleges they are very well aware of these behaviours actually,
which is
which is
amazing.
fantastic.
But how's that being
But
communicated?
we need to
Yeah.
be aware of them as well. Yeah, of course, it's our responsibility to look into that. But um, I think this highlighted how, you know,
But it's how quickly it changes because
yes,
it's okay saying it's okay for me to go and
yes,
research and look into it.
yeah,
I didn't know the coloured hearts was a
yeah,
thing.
no,
That's the point. So if
yeah,
somebody comes to me and says, "You know those coloured hearts have different meanings,"
mm,
right? I'll go and explore that and I'll find
yeah,
out what they mean.
mm,
But I didn't know that until that
yeah,
program came out, and so
no,
it's okay saying it's my job to educate myself.
mm,
Yes, it is. But if I don't know something that's even
mm,
broken or different,
yeah, you
why
don't,
would I go and explore it? I wouldn't. Would I just
yeah.
like we all do? We assume that that's well, a heart is a heart means I love you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you just think, "Oh, you like purple."
Yeah,
You don't know
but
that that
God,
means
I didn't even
anything.
contemplate using a purple one. If I mean, I don't use
Yeah.
emojis
I
really,
use
but
yellow ones because it suits our branding.
right, well, what does that mean then? You're gonna kill me.
Well, yeah, I just thought yellow was jolly, that's why it's,
I mean,
in
this
our
this is the
branding.
point, though, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, but that going back to the technical aspect, sorry, because
yeah,
I'm excited.
yes.
Um, that was for those of you who don't know. So that was there was no cuts whatsoever, as you said earlier, which
Amazing.
was phenomenal. The I keep using these same words, phenomenal,
I know, but
masterpiece,
and
art,
you
but
never use these words either very
I
often,
rarely
but
use these
no,
words. But
yeah,
this, honestly,
yeah,
um, but the way everything was planned and executed. I
mm,
mean, if you imagine, I don't know if you even if you can, but filming something for an hour, only two cameramen. I say cameramen
yes,
because I think they were men. Otherwise, I say
yeah,
camera operator. Sorry, but yeah, two camera operators um, that handed the camera off to each other throughout
yeah,
the set,
mm,
the episode. Sorry, um, and you just basically you follow the story, you follow the
yeah, you
people. It's
feel
like
like
it's
you're in it.
yeah, you like it. Yeah, you're walking with them to the next
Yeah.
scene, and some of the actions that they did. I mean, there was one bit where they. We're not going to ruin it for you, but there was one scene
Oh,
where
come on, everyone's seen it.
they're walking out of the school, and it's one of the girls, and the camera's following the girl. Then she's walking
Yeah.
across the road. Camera
Mm,
stops, and then all of a sudden, and there's no cut, as I say. This camera just
mm,
takes off into the air.
yeah,
And when you watch the behind the scenes, you
yeah,
basically got this huge drone being held by two operators,
yeah,
one holding one side, one holding the other side.
mm,
Can't do it, so we've got a cup of tea.
mm,
And they're walking, and then they stop. The camera operator comes up underneath it,
yeah,
secures the camera to the. And this don't. There's
yeah,
no shaking on this, and they've
mm,
used a very piece of important equipment, which I'll explain in a minute, which helps with that. And they connect it to the drone.
mm,
The operators of the drone, then with
yeah,
the camera hold onto it, move forward. Someone starts
mm,
at the motors,
mm,
and then it. And
yeah,
it to the viewer, it just looks like this one. What it is, one continuous
I
shot,
know.
but the effort and the
Yeah,
timing and the amount of times that I've had to practice
I
that
know.
movement just to get that one single piece
Mm,
smooth and correct. I mean, there's
yeah.
no jerks whatsoever.
Oh, no.
There's nothing. I mean, they might have cropped in a little bit to take out some
Yeah.
shaky footage. I don't know. Maybe, don't know. But
Mm.
it's still the
I'm
amount of
smirking because
times
when that was on, you were like, "That's on a drone. It's on a drone.
because
While we're watching
I
it."
couldn't work out if they shot the whole thing because I've seen people literally use drone
They've used a
photography.
drone for that, Helen.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, but that can't be because the way they're getting so close, that's
Yeah.
not drone. And I'm trying to work it
They
out
haven't
in my
clipped
head.
that, Helen.
So that's why I was on, right, have they done that? And then I saw that they'd attached it to drone midway through. I mean, it's just
Fantastic.
people getting off and on dollies. I
Yeah,
mean,
but they jump out of the window as well, that scene where the kid jumps out the window,
yeah.
it just is
I mean, I'm guessing
breathtaking.
there they handed a camera to one person at the other side of the. I'm guessing it was a handoff. So one person had a camera on one side of the window, there's an operator the other side, and
The
they handed the camera
Well,
over
yeah,
and
yeah,
followed. But
yeah, but there's still people debating it saying, "No, but you could see that there's the pane of glass." And then everyone's getting, like, really like, "Yeah, but you could see this," and blah, blah, blah. It's just sparking up so much
oh,
conversation in so many different levels.
and so there was 4 episodes,
Yes.
and this is the other interesting thing.
Mm,
They hardly, from what I can see, so I'm
mm.
assuming here because I haven't seen there is BTS behind the scenes footage going around, but there's not loads of it.
No, yeah, yeah.
There's hardly any lighting used.
Yes.
So I'm assuming they shot this in summertime because English weather's not amazing, right? Um, that we shot this in summertime, and they gave themselves, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 weeks to shoot.
Oh, okay.
So what they did was they obviously did loads and loads of rehearsals, and they
Yeah.
gave themselves 10 takes per
Mm,
episode, 2 a
mm,
day.
mm.
Like I said, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 weeks, but they had to get done.
Must have
Now,
been 4 weeks because it's 4
yeah, but I
episodes.
don't know if they did. Probably did weekends, right? I mean, it's film. You don't stop and
Wow.
work all day, all morning, all night, and
It's
weekends,
an
and you don't stop.
intense few weeks,
Well, it is,
crikey.
right? It's what happens on filming
Wow.
sets. It's you don't understand when they do filming. It's
Yeah.
probably 3 months of filming, but it's back to back and
Yeah.
non-stop. Um, but so they did these 4, and some of them they got on take 2. Others they didn't get till take 9 or 10. I mean,
Yes.
cutting it
No, like the
real
last
fine.
one. Can you imagine the pressure? Yep, the first I just double checked that before we came on. Um, the first episode that they filmed, which was the um second or third one that you said that it was the Jamie Owen's first
Oh, in
episode.
the prison with the
Yeah,
yeah,
so that was his first
yeah.
see, they got that on the second take.
I mean, that kid.
'Cause I genuinely thought, because when that came on, that third second or third episode, I can't remember now. When that came on, I thought, "Wow, he's come on leaps and bounds
Yeah,
from the beginning." I
yeah.
genuinely thought, "Oh, wow." I wouldn't have thought in a million years
You
that
know,
that was the first take
some people,
episode, sorry.
sorry, have a natural
Yeah.
God-born ability to do
Mm,
something.
mm, mm,
That child's calling in life
mm.
is to be an actor, but not
Yeah,
just any actor, an actor that represents raw
yeah. I
emotions.
mean,
I mean,
yeah,
wow.
we've been a huge fan of Stephen Graham for a good few years, haven't we? Like,
I'd love to give him a hug.
yeah, he's just so
Yeah.
he just seems so down to earth and like, oh, just so talented. We've been a real fan of him for a while, but
Since This Is England.
yeah, we loved him in that. I didn't
Yeah.
realise he actually has a part in Pirates of the Caribbean as well. Didn't know that.
I don't know.
When I was researching other movies that he'd done, but I feel like he's really, really got him. I mean,
This
like
is his core. This is his niche.
this
This
has
is
got
what he
him
does.
in front of everybody
Yeah.
now,
Well,
hasn't it?
he was already, right? I
He
mean, he was on a
already.
Disney show not long ago, done by
Oh yeah, we
Disney.
need to see
He
that
was in
one.
that
Yeah,
cooking. I mean, he's done loads, but
yeah, but
he always, for me,
it's gone to
his
the next
best
level.
roles are where he plays strong emotional characters.
Mm, mm,
Whether that's through violence, whether that's through anger, whether that's
mm,
through in,
mm.
happiness, sadness, but
Yeah,
where he can really draw upon those.
grit
I don't know
and
if it's like past experiences he's had or how he gets into that
yeah,
headspace of
mm.
this is what I'm going to do.
Or the
But
tips that he's given to that Jamie Owen, like, um, you know,
yeah,
it just absolutely outstanding.
I'm just going to put this out there, Stephen Graham. If you are watching this,
We love you.
well, yeah, but if you're ever in Birmingham, thread a pixel.
Oh,
Please stop in and say hello.
yeah,
Please,
yeah.
it'd
When
be
we'll do a
amazing.
podcast with us at Two Krakens.
Oh, please do. Oh my god.
Wow,
Um, but
absolute
yeah,
masterpiece.
I genuinely think that he needs a BAFTA or something for
Oh, 100%.
his involvement in this,
He's
and
been.
everybody else. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not just one person, right?
No,
But
that's it, yeah.
I mean,
Brad Pitt
yeah,
was involved in the movie as well,
was
actually.
he?
Yes, but I've only read that a couple of times, but haven't read exactly, um, uh, how. I did write it down in my notes here, actually. Brad Pitt's involvement, his production company, Plan B Entertainment, apparently, allegedly played a crucial role in bringing it to life,
Oh, okay.
known for supporting socially relevant projects. The company believed in the script's potential to shed light on modern adolescent experience. Pitt himself was involved in early discussions about the show's direction and tone. I mean, allegedly, I don't know
Yeah,
how true that
Stephen Graham,
is.
please can you confirm nor did I?
Yes, come on the podcast and we can discuss this further. Or Brad Pitt. I'm
Mm,
happy with both. Like,
I'm not bothered about Brad Pitt,
there's
to be
there's
honest.
always a spare chair here.
No, well, no, there's not actually. This is for Stephen Graham.
No, 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 for them both. Yes, I can make chairs for them both.
No, actually, no.
But yeah, it's just brought up the ripple effect of other people's actions, which is
Yeah,
what we were trying to say to our son as well. And yeah, I really think it should be shown in schools, secondary
100% it
schools,
needs to be shown in
and they're
schools.
talking about making another one, but I don't think that one of the writers was sort of thinking that. A brief interview that I heard from one of the other writers, he was saying, "I'm not sure that that's something that we'll do," but
Hmm,
it's one of those things, this is creme de la creme, chef's kiss.
yeah.
Sometimes you just have to just do something different.
I disagree. I think that
Um,
actually, I think what Stephen Graham and the team have done here is, as you say, they've brought to light uh, something that's happening in young people's lives,
mm,
and they have now cast this I mean,
Mhm.
a million spotlights on it, not just
Yeah.
once. I mean,
Mm.
a
Mm.
whole host of lights on this
Mm.
really serious situation, actually, and lots of underlying things as well, like the
Mm.
emojis, and then
Mm.
potential bullying in school. What that looks like,
Well,
how
the incel thing
the
as well,
incel
it's
thing,
so
how boys feel about
huge.
girls and vice versa.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, actually, is there more to this now? Are there using
Mm.
those same series of actors?
Mm.
And this actually could be almost like a coming of mind. So, if you remember in school, there were always videos, like
Mm.
short videos you'd watch about sex
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever it was, and they were
Mm.
just utter
Awful.
nonsense, right? I mean, you were just laughing or you weren't even
Yeah.
watching them because they didn't
Everyone's
communicate to you
no.
on that level, right?
No.
They weren't fit for purpose, to be honest with you. It was
No.
basically ticking a box for a box's sake.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got to do a
Watch
sex
this,
ed.
kids.
Well, there you go. That's something we found in the library. There you go. That's probably from the
Yeah.
1920s.
Yeah.
Well, this is how you put on a condom. What's a condom, you ask? I mean, it's a fucking joke, right? So,
Mm.
is there something here where Stephen Graham can look at and the team other things that happen for children and
Yeah.
create
Mm.
other? I mean, it's educational just as much as anything else,
I think sex
but
education would be fantastic.
educational and entertaining and
Mm.
gripping and
Mm.
create other things like it, but
Mm.
other topics that affect young people
Mm.
because these
Mm.
poor young kids, to be
Mm.
honest with you, in a lot of ways,
They're
are
growing
just
up
being
fast.
left and just
Growing up
abandoned
fast.
and they're not being dealt with. We had this
Mm.
conversation about something the other day about you saw a post online where
Mm.
somebody had said that in their school they were no longer giving first, second, and third to sports day
Oh God.
because it was
Yeah.
that the school thought it would
Mm.
be unfair to say people haven't done as well as somebody else because of their
You
sporting
can't have
ability.
winners and
Right. Well,
losers.
then, if that's the case, then to be honest, just stop doing the GCSE grade results then, because then
Yeah.
I was academically stupid,
Mm.
but so I was made to feel stupid, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm sporting, well, that's not okay. So I'm
Mm.
sorry, I'm calling that. That's absolute nonsense,
Yeah.
right? Um,
You have
I've
to look.
lost my train of thought now because I got so passionate about
Oh.
that nonsense bit.
Well, I'll just caveat on that. I do think that you have to learn to lose.
It's part of
And,
growing
and,
up,
and, and you should
right?
enjoy the great times too.
Yeah,
And you have to learn from the mistakes. And that is something that I've learned since having your own business, really. So for like the past 10 years, I was embarrassed to make mistakes and ask questions as I grew up. But now it's so openly said, you learn from your mistakes. And we keep
yeah.
saying that to our son. And I think if I'd have known that growing up and heard that more growing up, it just wasn't in anyone's culture. It's no one's fault.
Hmm.
It's just it wasn't sort of
Spoke about.
spoken about in that way. You wouldn't be as afraid to make mistakes.
No, it's true. I
Have you
remember my
remembered
yeah.
where you were? Off
But
you
the
go.
point is that the children are being left behind, and
Mm,
it's almost like and I don't want to pigeon anyone out or call anyone out because it's not. I understand that the job of schools is very difficult. I'm not saying
yeah.
it's the school's fault. I think that the
Mm,
system is outdated, in which case it's the
yeah.
government's fault.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like with these things, primary schools are sort of leaving it to the secondary schools. The
Mm,
secondary schools are leaving it to the colleges. The
mm,
colleges are leaving it to the universities, and the universities leave it to the employers.
mm,
But these kids then have used to a way of life for 20 years, 21 years, whatever it is they're in
mm,
education for, how long they're
mm,
in education for, and then they're thrown into the world, which is
mm,
nothing like what that's been
mm.
painted for the last 20 20. We've wrapped them in cotton wool far too much.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, this idea of losing and winning, that's life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
So for me, going back to my original point, 'cause when I've had a bit of a tangent there, sorry,
Yes.
is there a thing where Stephen Graham and the team
Mm,
can create educational content that is
mm,
gripping that can be used in
mm,
schools as well
But
to
is
help shed light on these things and show people
yeah.
that you're not alone and
Mm,
these things are out there, they are
mm,
happening, but
mm.
this is the ways you can deal with them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just briefly talking about, the sex education, for example, we just try and say to our son, he's only 11, but trying to put it out there early. It's not the female down to worry about if she gets pregnant.
Mhm.
You're equally as
Oh,
and that
100%.
that's something that's really poignant that needs to be
Hey, look,
explained.
you're responsible for sticking it in, you're responsible
Yeah.
for what comes out. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
No,
it's
I
crude,
know. Very
but
black and white. We
no,
don't
but it
say it
is.
like that to our
No, no,
11
of
year
course we don't. But to the podcast, that's what it is,
No,
right?
yeah.
You were big enough to stick it in. You're
Yeah.
big enough to handle what comes out the other
Yeah.
side. Well, it
Yeah.
comes out the same side, doesn't it? But there we go. Maybe I need sex education.
Yes, darling.
um, but Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of an odd podcast because we're not talking loads
Mm.
about business and stuff like we normally do, but
Oh,
um,
we've just been blown away by that. There's
it
so
needed to
many
be
different
spoken about.
conversations that have come from it. It's just been, it's brought up so many interesting conversations. The way it's filmed has just been an absolute masterpiece, as you say.
Yeah.
Um, the 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 ripple effect and all the conversations that have come back. The fact that there wasn't barely any music throughout it, like you were saying in your in videos and films, the music can really take you to that
Oh,
emotion.
absolutely.
And the only song that they had in there, you can explain about that.
That was the choir, wasn't it? The
Yeah, so
school
they
choir.
the
Yeah,
choir
from the
that
school.
sang as they were on going across on the drone, I believe it
Yeah,
was,
yeah. As he went
when
to the place where he'd
he'd
committed the acts, the
yeah,
child had committed the acts,
that was
his
the
son.
choir from the school,
Yeah,
which is just wonderful, and then the girl singing was the girl that
that
was
played.
murdered.
Yeah,
So there's just so many things behind the scenes that have been
it's.
thought through.
I can't. It sounds like I've got this. Maybe I've got a crush on Stephen Graham. I don't know. Maybe I have.
Well, I'd have to join
Maybe
you
I
there.
have. But yeah, it was. I would happily watch it again.
Yeah,
Happily.
I would really like
I
to
mean, there
watch it
was the
again.
scene when he's in the van. I mean,
The van
you
scene is
think
so
normally, right,
amazing.
in film, you have different angles that you create in a scene. So if you think about a scene normally, you have typically it's made up of three sort of shots of it per scene,
Mm,
which is a wide, so you get an idea of what's going on in the environment.
mm,
A medium, which is then when you've
mm.
probably got people talking and communicating, and then close up to show things like emotion or grit, or if you want to really get close to something like
Yeah.
an action that's happening.
Mm,
And that's typically, it's not a rule, but it's a kind of a thread that you follow
mm,
when you're shooting a scene. They didn't have this. I mean, if you look at the
mm.
car scene, where he's in the van, sorry,
Yeah, it's all one angle, isn't it?
it's
Yeah,
one
that's true.
shot through the windscreen. I mean, how they handled the
I know.
reflection,
I was
flipping
like,
God
"Where
knows.
are they moving? There's no
There's no
reflection."
window. There's no window.
I was like, "There's no window." Then I saw the reflection of the clouds, and we
Yeah.
were like, "No, there is."
So how they
Yeah.
handle that, I don't know. Especially, I mean, because imagine, right? This isn't in a studio.
No.
This isn't a set.
And you don't know what the bloody English weather's gonna do.
No, that's the thing. So that's the other thing, right? I mean, there's so many films now where they're in a vehicle and they've just got well, they used to use green screen. Now they use massive TV screens that are all uh, oh, it's fantastic the tech. But anyway, but it's all set in a in a scene a studio, right? With
Right.
correct lighting, so nothing changes.
Yeah.
They are controlling everything.
Yeah.
When you are out of a set or a studio, you have less and less and less control. So they've got
Yeah.
no lighting on this
It's
van scene.
insane.
They've got one camera,
Yeah.
so it's not even if the camera cocks up, well, we can cut to a different camera. No, that's
No.
not because normally you have three or four cameras shooting the
Game.
same thing, so you can cut to in
Yeah.
case something cocks up. Oh,
Mm.
audio, correct audio. The way they manage the audio in the van as well, because they're all so
Yeah.
close, the echo, all
Yeah.
next to each other.
Yeah. It's had over 24 million
Oh, and
views.
rightly so.
I'm just looking at my notes. I've got so many notes on it. There's just so much, and then there's more things coming up every day.
Yeah,
Like there's just so much to learn from it. And I'm just really happy for him that it's taken so
yeah.
well.
And for
It's
the
just
young lad as well, wasn't
amazing.
it Jamie Owen?
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is just
I mean, his
amazing.
career now is it's
He's
hopefully
set,
it'll
isn't
just
he?
that's it. It'll just catapult and he'll use
Yeah.
this and just go on to amazing things.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
and rightly so.
I think he's got a talent.
Absolutely shown that he deserves it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, we could go on for another few hours. I think about it, couldn't
I
we?
could keep on saying it's phenomenal. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
It's a piece of
yeah,
art.
yeah. But
If you haven't
kudos to
seen it,
them.
oh my
Oh,
god,
please,
go, go,
you
go, go,
simply
go
have
and watch
to.
it.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Netflix. It's 4 hours.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's 4 episodes, an hour
yeah.
each. It's very intense. It's not one of those programs you watch while you're scrolling on your phone or
No,
having a
no, no.
chat or tidying
Will
up.
you always
You
scroll
will
on your phone while
yeah,
watching something? You didn't
yeah.
pick up your phone.
No, I was just so
Yeah.
fixated. It was just yeah. But yeah, we've shown our crush on this. It's just,
And I'm
ah,
going to put it out there again, Stephen Graham. If you are listening,
mm.
God only hopes, please. Uh, then please pop in, say hello, thread a pixel. I'll send you my address to
Yeah.
your agent
Well, 2
or
Krakens
two
will do the
Krakens.
pod.
Come and say hello to the pod. Yeah, but
Mm, amazing.
wow, and I can't wait to see what comes next,
Mm,
whatever
yeah.
next it is.
Mm.
Um,
And from the Jamie Owen as well, like what he
yeah,
goes on
I
to
mean, do you
do.
know what? Actually, I mean,
Fantastic.
it's really almost like a. I don't know what you can give them as a thank you, but
Mm. Yeah.
everybody that was involved in that,
Mm,
thank you for creating it because
mm, mm.
wow.
He said people have stopped him in the street and given him a hug, and so
Yeah.
I bet yeah, we're certainly not the only ones to,
But it's
feel this
really
way.
important as well to make sure that everybody is credited. I mean,
Yes,
Stephen Graham obviously
and I
had a
can
massive
imagine him
part in
to
it and
be
wrote,
like
"Oh,
that
yeah, he has been. I've
100%.
seen him
He's not gonna
on
just take all
interviews."
the credit, like,
But
s
it's important for other people to start making sure they realize that
yeah.
everybody had a role to play, and
Mm,
in the way it was shot, it was so
mm.
important that everybody's role was executed. I mean, if
To
you think about
perfection.
this, sorry, they would have had a script, but
They went off script a lot.
if somebody goes off script, this is not a
Mm.
cut, start again, because they
No,
have only got 10 tries at
no,
this. So
no.
you almost have to go with it. But
Mm,
imagine if you're
mm.
the person
Yeah,
receiving that. So
yeah,
you say the wrong line, for example. I'm
yeah.
not
It
expecting that.
throws you
Then it
off.
throws me off,
Yeah,
but I can't let anybody know that's been thrown off. So I've got to
yeah,
then improvise
yeah.
to try and bring it back onto script.
Mm. In the scene where where Jamie was talking, to the psychopath to the,
Psychotherapist, was it? Or yeah.
psychotherapist, um, yeah, he said that, he yawned because he was genuinely tired, and that wasn't in the script,
Hmm.
obviously, and she said, "Am I boring you?"
Hmm.
And he laughed because he
I didn't
he
know
was
that.
taken, and that went into the scene
Hmm.
because he does do a bit of a psychopath laugh,
Hmm.
doesn't he, throughout that
Well,
scene
this it
once
kind
or
of
twice,
switches, doesn't he,
which works. Oh god, it just switches like that.
between this normal young
Mm,
lad who's
yeah,
just normal to a
mm,
almost like something's not quite right
yeah,
upstairs sort of thing? Like,
yeah,
is it that he's aggressive or he's got this evil streak in him? I don't want to say evil, but,
mm,
this
mm,
streak in him that's
mm.
so, yeah, I mean
And now people are totally analysing everything. In the first scene, in the first, episode, there is a bit of, there's a bit of wallpaper ripped off
hmm,
in the shape of a knife, and so people and his hand sort of goes over it,
hmm,
and so now people are saying, "Was that done on purpose?"
yeah,
I mean, people are just gonna get all their detective
of
stuff
course
out
they are,
now,
but
aren't they? Um,
that's not what the thing's about, is it really? It's about looking at it for what it was. I mean, technically, there's one mistake I saw. I'm not gonna say what it is
oh,
because it's not right.
oh,
It was amazing what they
mm,
did.
yeah,
And with the time they had and the way it was done and the
mm,
story and the
mm,
execution, world class.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, and also the end scene. He was supposed to get in the bed and cover
okay,
himself up because he always wanted sorry, they always wanted to end the scene where it began, which again I think is just
ties the
lovely.
story off nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just went off on his own thing and tied and tucked the teddy in,
Hmm.
which obviously worked incredibly because
Yeah.
it made you cry
Because
and
it was like he
millions of
I'm going to
others.
do it again if I'm not careful. It was him putting him back to bed.
Mm,
It was the teddy was the symbol. I come from this
yeah,
teddy was the symbolization
yeah,
of his son.
yeah.
And that's what you imagine. That's what you remember, isn't it? Is your kid
Mm.
with their favorite teddy,
Yeah,
tucking him into bed, and the kid always says, "Can you tuck the teddy in?" So you
yeah,
tuck it. So for him, it was, "I'm tucking them back into bed,"
yeah.
even though he may not ever see him again, or I don't know
It
what happened obviously next. But
yeah.
that was I'm putting him back to bed.
Mm.
It was
Outstanding, impeccable, chef's kiss. Oh,
you've got to watch it honestly. You
yeah.
seriously
If you
have,
haven't watched it, you're massively missing out, and spend your weekend watching that because I think we'll
and
watch it again this weekend, won't we?
probably, yeah, and,
Yeah.
as I say, sort of a round of applause to everybody involved in that, and I
Mm.
hope to God
Mm.
that exact team comes
Yeah.
together again for
Mm.
something else because there's greatness on the horizon if it hasn't already
Mm.
been achieved by all of them,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of them. So, that
So
was a bit of
yeah.
an odd one, wasn't it?
Yes, but very passionate, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Brilliant.
somebody might have learned some things about videography, and if you haven't, well, I love talking about adolescence, so there we go. Not that
Yeah.
bothered really.
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't learned anything, just go and watch the movie with the
The
series.
series, yeah.
But yeah, it's
So,
just our passion. We just really wanted to talk about it, didn't we?
yeah.
So
So next
it's
episode we're
lovely.
back to normal.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, by the next episode, we might actually have the new studio done, and we might
Mm. Do a cheeky
a
one in
do a
there.
cheeky one in there. Don't
Ooh,
know, don't
exciting.
know. I'll see because we've got the podcast studio, we've
Mm,
got the content studio, and if I can get it done in time, we'll have a
mm.
green room.
Nice, exciting.
That's because I like green.
Looking
There's a
forward to
reason for
it.
that, and I'll explain that in another video, another podcast.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
No,
so
get cracking.
have a great day, everyone.
Yes, thank you for listening and
Keep
enjoy
smiling.
watching the series. And there's plenty for us to all learn from it.
Yeah. And until next time, see you later.
Bye
Bye.
bye.